Let's do some draft talk here on Philadelphia Eagles now. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for joining us. And no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, as always, we appreciate your support of the show. On the docket for today, going to take a look at Todd McShay and Mel Kiper's latest Eagles mock draft, but also talk about the latest Eagles draft buzz, because did Howie Roseman, in his interview with the media on Thursday, basically say that the Eagles are open to taking Bijan Robinson at number 10? We're going to dive into it, but first, a programming reminder. Speaking of the draft, myself and Trizzy, we're going to be going live for the entire duration of the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft this Thursday, April 27th. You don't want to miss it. Super Chat giveaways, Super Chat games. It's going to be a blast. We'll be slugging beers, having a ball. So subscribe and join us. Turn on your notifications too. Therefore, when we do go live, you will be notified. So let's get to this ESPN NFL mock draft. And we're talking about Bijan Robinson here because Todd McShay has the Eagles taking the Texas running back, an overall weapon, with the 10th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. And did Howie Roseman basically say that the Eagles are open to taking one of the more polarizing prospects that we've seen at this position over the last several years, and a guy who I think is a top 3 overall player in this draft class? Let's pick apart the words and dissect what Howie Roseman said, because I think this means that he's open to taking Bijan at 10, even though he's a running back. I think the most important thing when you're picking at 10 is that you get a unique player, and I think there are so few unique players in any draft that if you start drafting by position and not based on the quality of the talent, if you pick by position and you get a player who's not good, it's not a good pick anyway. I think the most important thing for us as an organization here is that we utilize this opportunity to get a unique player for our team. I think that if you start saying, hey, we can get a unique player, but it only is at this position, you narrow down your options. We want to make sure as the Philadelphia Eagles that whoever we pick can impact the game. Now, if you went back and watched Bijan Robinson, and if you look at his numbers, which we'll unveil here just around the corner, what sticks out about Bijan Robinson? What's one of the first words that comes to mind when you think about Bijan Robinson? He's unique. What's also a part of what Howie Roseman had to say? Can he impact the game right away? And here's the deal about the Eagles. How often is a team that makes it to the Super Bowl, that wins the NFC, how often are they picking inside the top 10? It's extremely rare. Usually teams that are picking atop the draft have massive needs and multiple needs because they're not a good team. Philadelphia Eagles are a very good team. And on offense, they lost Isaac Seumalo and Miles Sanders, 2 starters. Do they have some needs defensively? Yeah, but they plugged some of those holes on the defensive side of the ball. What did Jeffrey Lurie, though, say a couple of weeks ago from the NFL Scouting Combine? He knows that offense wins in today's NFL. So you don't have that many needs. You do have a need at running back. Offense wins, and you're looking for a unique player. Bijan Robinson fits the mold for Philadelphia. Great scheme fit, transcendent talent, a guy who's extremely special. And I think with what Howie Roseman had to say, they might be open to the idea. I think it's either that or they go offensive line or defensive line. With that, today's poll question is this. You'll be the general manager, and you get to make the decision as Howie Roseman. This is going to be our pinned comment, so if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, use it to your advantage. Scroll on down, get your votes, and by the time you do that, we'll be back breaking down Bijan Robinson's numbers. S for it would be a smart pick. D for it would be a dumb pick. Type your responses down in the comments right now. Here is why Bijan is extremely unique and a transcendent player. In 2021, marvelous production. And again, go back and watch what he's done. If you haven't watched him, he is a Christian McCaffrey type of player. He can run the football in between the tackles. He has the speed and elusiveness to get outside the tackles. He can catch balls out of the backfield. He can line up in the slot as a wide receiver like a McCaffrey. His footwork in his hands, really, really good. More than 1,100 rushing yards in 2021. Average yards per carry, nearly 6. 26 catches, 295 yards, 15 total touchdowns. And this past year, nearly 1,600 rushing yards. Average yards per carry, even greater than 2021. 19 catches for more yardage than a year ago. He also had 5 more total touchdowns. Here's what McShay had to say about Bijan to the Birds at 10. Look, I know he might not go this high, and we can spend hours talking about running back value in round 1 because, folks, the running back position has been devalued. If you're playing football right now, probably don't want to play running back. You might want to play wide receiver. But Robinson, McShay continued, is my number 2 overall prospect and makes sense in this Eagles offense. He's a complete back who could dominate alongside newly extended quarterback Jalen Hurts in this backfield. More on this mock draft coming up, but Elon Musk took my blue Twitter check mark away, so show me some love to help me get over this really difficult time right now. I'm kidding. It doesn't really matter. I just want to chop it up with all of you. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. Same handle on both. At pick number 30, who does Todd McShay have the Eagles taking? Myles Murphy. Now, this would make a lot of sense because of how the Eagles construct their rosters. Offensive line, defensive line, inside, out, on the trenches, and, of course, quarterback, a very important position, but they just locked up Jalen Hurts. And Myles Murphy at number 30 would be awesome production. People rave about his work ethic. They rave about the shape that he's in. And what I do like, he's been available and he's put up steady production throughout his NFL career. It's not a project. You're not taking him based upon just his athleticism solely. McShay on Myles Murphy. How about the other really good defensive lineman from Clemson? It's also talking about Brian Breesy as the other one. The Eagles' defensive line was excellent last year, recording 70 sacks, but the unit is aging and could have depth issues. Murphy has the burst to get home on the quarterback and fits what the Eagles like to do in round 1. Build up the trenches. It's almost like Todd McShay listens to the show because I just said that. Myles Murphy in 2022. Great production, and this has been the case throughout his NFL career. 40 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and then you look at his career stats, 116 tackles, 36 tackles for loss, 18.5 sacks with 6 forced fumbles. And McShay made that point. We've talked about it here on the show. Brandon Graham, 11 sacks last year. You brought back Fletcher Cox. What can Derek Barnett do in the final year of his contract? Josh Sweat, really solid player. But at edge, you are aging a little bit. And how do you win in today's NFL? Get a good quarterback, protect the quarterback, and attack the quarterback. With defensive linemen, you can attack the quarterback. And that's what Myles Murphy does a good job of. Bijan Robinson is my dream Eagles draft target. Who is yours? You can drop me a name, or if you have a couple of names, drop those names down below for me. We appreciate that. At pick number 62, Eagles stay in the trenches, but they go interior defensive line here. So I love this, right? You can still get Myles Murphy at 30. That's an area of need at edge rusher. You can also get a young player at defensive tackle because you're aging at edge, you're aging at defensive tackle, and then you go with the player in Bijan who can make an immediate impact. Zach Pickens, South Carolina, to the Birds at 62. Why? Let's allow McShay to explain. More trench warfare for the Eagles. Fletcher Cox, 32 years old on a 1-year deal, so bringing in an explosive, powerful, versatile defensive lineman to stack next to Jordan Davis in the future. A good use of this late pick in round 2. Sack numbers, not going to blow you away. What does impress you, and this is why he's a second-round pick, is because of the lack of production. It's his athleticism. It's his burst. It's the quick twitch off the snap once the center gives it to the hands of the quarterback. 42 tackles for the Gamecocks last year, 4 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups. I always think that pass breakups, pretty underrated statistic for a defensive lineman. It means that they have pretty good anticipatory skills, and they can read the eyes of the quarterback to jump up and bat some of those passes down. It's not a negative play, but it's certainly a productive play. I'm really pumped up for the NFL draft, which is coming up on Thursday. And again, in case you missed the message earlier, we're going to be going live right here on Eagles Now, the entire first round of the 2023 NFL draft. People are going to be tuned in from worldwide. We have some awesome Super Chat giveaways for you. Type it into the comment section right now if you're excited about the D for draft.